Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is November 18th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I gotta say, I'm doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. I'm on the hot spot, hoping this holds up in a fancy hotel room. Not fancy internet, though.
I mean, I don't think you could consider the hotel room is not fancy unless you have strong internet. You can do all the accoutrements, but you need internet. You need the actual guts of the thing to work, in my opinion. You can't label it fancy. You know, they got nice mints on the pillow or something, high-end mints. And no, just make me internet that works.
I'm not even at a fancy hotel, but having a hotel internet is in 2024 thrust towards the top of the bucket. This internet, I'm not going to reveal my location, although people will probably know with the smallest amount of digging where I am. It's an embarrassment. Hopped on. I don't know what the Mbps stands for, but I got 2 when I did a speed test. That's tough. It's unacceptable. I'm on hotspot.
You're very pixelated. So, all right. I almost called to the bullpen today. I've been very under the weather the last 2 days, and I was thinking,
really?
Yeah, got spiking a fever
What
right
happened?
now. I think I timed the Advil up. That's where I feel like okay right now. But an hour ago, I was like struggling. I was thinking, I don't think we've called off for travel and family vacations. I think we've missed like 2 podcasts. Me when I had COVID before we knew what was COVID was, and I think you after Ireland. There's like been no. That was it. I think.
I don't know what I had at that point. That was maybe the most sick I've ever been in my life.
I mean, we are so tough to be able to sit in a chair and talk on a microphone, be able to get through. So only 2 absences due to injury or illness over 6 years.
I was at a dinner tonight. My opponents, one of whom, in tomorrow morning's match, early match, one of whom used to provide some information for this podcast. They were trying to get me to drink more. And I said, listen, I had 1 beer. Yeah. I'm a professional. I have to go podcast.
We really try to avoid that, which can be hard sometimes. Thursday night recordings or Sunday, I don't think we've boozed in podcasts much ever.
I got to my location. I had to vanquish some demons today. I managed to drive through Moore County. No ticket. I've never driven so carefully.
How tight were you on the speedometer and the pedal?
I was using cruise control to keep myself, because the last time I got the ticket because I got off this cruise control.
I never use cruise control anymore. I need to get back on that.
Dedicated to the cruise, even in like sections of 35. I was just like, I'm saying this at 36 miles an hour. We're going 36.
Who's your attorney's name? Butch
Jenkins.
Butch, you're keeping him out of the billable hours. That's bad for Butch.
I don't need another $500 oopsie-daisy, you know? You got to avoid those.
They're just laying in wait, trying to jam you.
Do you have big Rafael Campos thoughts today?
No. I mean, I thought it was I watched it. A good little in my fever dream. I was sort of loopy watching it, and I mean that 18th hole is absurd. Like it's ridiculous. Did you watch that? Like those guys weren't close. All 3 of them, like 2 went touch them all. I mean, Novak like almost hit it over the grandstand. You got winds coming. Lauer hits a good shot.
Be kicking himself.
Yeah, Lauer hits a good shot, but spins down all the way. That was a hard. The Campos story is obviously an interesting one and a compelling one. I think this is kind of what the fall is for. Last year, we saw some of the really compelling and interesting, even heartwarming stories with Camilo getting his win, Erik van Rooyen. And I think we saw that a little bit with Rafa Campos today. And quite honestly, I don't want to have a semi-serious take. There was a lot of stakes today, right? I mean, you had Rory in tears in Dubai. You had Campos in tears in Bermuda. You had LPGA cards getting cut off down in Florida. There was some stuff going on. And I thought the sort of juxtaposition with Rory and Campos both in tears for very different reasons, right? Rory's pretty much accomplished everything. Talked about how hard a year it's been, getting one across the line, the meaning of 6 times Seve. Like, I just think there's, like, I feel in the last few years, at times, the competitiveness has waned at times, right? Like, this is all just an ordeal to exchange money in front of people on a stage with the scores and stuff at times. And I think, like, to see two people for whom at very different levels and different parts of their career, like, Rory wasn't worked up about the money. I don't think Campos was really worked up about the money, though it will certainly help. Like, finding real emotional meaning in November 17th was sort of an interesting day in golf. And I thought that was interesting on both tours.
I mean, to a certain extent, once you've accomplished enough in golf, the money is not an important factor in what you're doing. Like, everybody who has ever played a competitive sport in their lifetime understands why you do it, why, and especially, I think Rafa Campos's tears were completely different than Rory's, but Rory's is like a reminder of the career. It was a career achievement. I mean, when you start to back out of Rory, it's a lifetime achievement. It is the persistence and the continued excellence of somebody that's in year, getting close to year, 16, 17 of pro golf?
Like 09, about that. Yeah.
And you're talking about somebody who's been really good for a really long time, and I'm sure the emotions are achieved. Like, it's not like the moment of I won the race to Dubai again. I won the DP World Tour Championship again. It's thinking back to, like, everything in the entirety of the career versus Campos, which I think is interesting, is like life-changing win, completely different end of the spectrum, as you said. And it's more of the in the moment, I can't believe that this happened. But at the end of the day, both of them, it's because of all the work that goes into getting it done.
Yeah, and I think these guys still just, like, they're doing this for a purpose beyond just the money. Like, these dudes want to win, whether it's a certain level you're at, Campos or Rory. I mean, it sounds very simple, but, like, the meaning of winning still carries so much weight for people at very different levels of their career.
I think that's one of the fascinating things about golf, and I think, like, Liv has done this for us, is that Liv, like, there's a very clear picture with Liv and the big payouts, like who's remained competitive, who actually gives a shit, who was in it just for the money. I think, like, golf's a sport that it's probably impossible to have continued sustained success unless you possess the hyper competitive trait, because you get showered with money and you're just gonna, if you don't keep working, you will get passed by. And I think that you could go down a list of players that probably fall into that bucket, but I think that's, like, the thing that's impressive with Rory. And I think, like, Fratelli made some comments about how Rory, he said the thing about I'd pay to play in the Ryder Cup. And I think, like, it's easy for Fratelli to say, well, yeah, like, you make so much money that you wouldn't pay for but I think that, like, the level competitor that you have to be a world-class player for 15, 16 years, I think that, like, sure, he's in a financial position where he could pay to play in the Ryder Cup, but I think he would play probably 10 Ryder Cups a year if they were all unpaid,
Yep.
Because it's the competition. It's the love of the competition. Yes. I think that's, like, the essence of any great athlete, like, truly great athlete. There is a burning desire with competition.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it necessarily, like, made me, all heartwarmed, but it was just, I thought it was nice to see that in both tours where there was like a real meaning in each win. Let's start with DP World Tour. Then we're going to do Sports Minute. I think some things happened in the NFL.
Nothing happened today.
Following the Grey Cup, the 15-0 Cavaliers, a lot going on.
Nothing happened today.
Let's do the DP World Tour. I think we've kind of hit on it. Rory McIlroy wins.
Caleb Williams led a great last-minute drive.
All right, we'll talk about that. Rory wins by 2 over Rasmus. I don't want the people looking for Echavarria Minute mad that we're putting football in first. Echavarria was on the green. He showered Campos with beer, or champagne, I should say. So Echavarria really crowbarring his way, elbowing his way into the Sunday. That's your Echavarria Minute. He seemed very happy and eager. And I think he actually, let's get in the weeds on Echavarria Minute. I think he jumped in from 61st to 59th. Set one more week to play, but might be set for the first 2 Siggy events next February. So Echavarria Minute there.
Echavarria is trying to take over for General Patton.
Just a fall ball ace.
We need the song that is, the Don Henley Boys of Summer. We need the fall equivalent of that for Echavarria and Patton. And when they achieve great things in the fall, we need to have something on the soundboard that we can play for them.
I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe there's one of these cookie cutter Kenny Chesney songs that says Boys of Fall about playing football or something like that. It's just some guy they put in an AI bot, turned out this song for Kenny Chesney. So
PJ, we got to get that in the soundboard.
Yeah.
I don't want to get Kenny's going to get us in trouble. We tried the copyrighted music thing.
Yeah, that's copyright. So much reaction today, man.
What an idiot. Just stupid.
Boys of Fall, Kirby Smart. So much reaction today, man. So many. I think it's very split. I think we got to put it to a vote. There's a very vocal proponent who love it, but I think more people who are against it are more muted. The people who hate it. They're so happy. You're so happy when it comes in every time. Also happy is Rory wins by 2 over Rasmus Højgaard, 4 over Shane Lowry, and Big Twan, Rosner, and Adam Scott. A very good leaderboard. I know it's only a 50-person field in Dubai, but a great leader. Hatton, Bobby Mack, just a great Joaquin Neiman, a fabulous top 10 for a small field. That tends to happen. Let's get to some Rory quotes. He went four birdies in his first 5 holes, and then finished with 2 in the last 3 to kind of pours one in at the last to make it a 2-shot lead. But Rasmus was nip and tuck there for a little bit. Rory said, "Great shot into 16. That was sort of the highlight, and stuffed it to a foot." So Rory said, "I would have been miserable for a few weeks if I had not won today. It would have just added to the list of ones that I felt get away." So again, not a great way to have gone into the holidays if he blew it to Rasmus or some other buddy.
How many players would say that? How many players would be honest and say that?
This would have eaten me up that I didn't win this mid-November.
If I didn't win this, I would have been miserable for a couple weeks.
Yeah. So I know how people are going to view my year. I view my year similarly, but at the same time, I still have to remember I won 4 times and accumulated a lot of big finishes and big performances. Can you name his 4 wins? Because he was talking about how it had been a while. I was like, didn't he win in May, 5 months ago? But I forgot one intervening. His 4 wins this year, including
Quail
one would
Hollow.
be today. Yeah.
He won right at the beginning in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, right? He won. Did he win twice there? He finished second in one and first in the other.
Yes.
What's his 4th win?
Zurich with Shane Lowry. That's the one I forgot. Completely forgot that. I mean, that's where he's at.
That's not an OWGR win.
You just forget wins when a guy piles them up like this.
It's not an OWGR win. Although with Lowry's comments, it might have been his most impressive win. With Lowry's comments about how bad he plays.
I still have to remember I won 4 times, accumulated a lot of big finishes and big performance. The 2 guys who had better years than me have had career years. Xander won 2 majors. Scotty won a Players Masters and Olympic gold medal. Amidst it all, what I've learned is I don't have to be It doesn't have to be important for everyone else. So getting at like the meaning of today. I think what I did today is very meaningful for me personally, but from an outside perspective, it might not be that meaningful if people are judging in terms of other things that I've achieved in the game and the things that I didn't achieve this year. But just because it maybe isn't as important to them doesn't mean it shouldn't be important to me. And he added, as long as there's an order of merit and we're on this tour, I'm going to want to win it. So his 6th order of merit, 2 behind Monty, tied with Seve, and that's where he got sort of really emotional thinking about the Seve aspect. A great win. I don't know, great, it's probably too strong, but a very important win, it seems like, as he goes into the offseason with the riding high. And I don't know what his season is. There are a lot of people like grade Rory's year, like B+, B. Is that we're grading on a curve. For anyone else, it's for a lot of people, it's like an A. Okay.
I think like there's good moments. There wasn't a ton. The consistency wasn't there. I think that's. I think it speaks volumes about where he thinks he's at, that he's making a considerable change in his golf swing. Yeah. Right? Like, I think like he probably wasn't, I think like if statistically took a step back in some areas, and I think he wasn't as consistent as he was in years past. But that being said, I think like we get in this spot, like you have to look at like, did you have a real chance to win majors if you're Rory? And he had one in his palms. And did he win? No. But you know what? Like if he gets 5 more really good chances to win majors, he's got to cash a couple of them in, you know?
Yep. Elsewhere at the Dubai World Tour Champion, or DP World Tour Championship, I think is the name of it. Matt Wallace did Matt Wallace things. Just exploded, poofed ball short, and just took a chunk of the fairway out. This was all over early. Like, this was, I mean, I don't know. Guy loses his temper a lot. It just takes a giant chunk. It's always the same guys, Matt Wallace, but he's apparently a good bloke. He just gets really hot on the golf course. And then Card Watch, the top 10 go to PGA Tour.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
For Card Watch?
Yeah. The great one. He's officially back.
Oh, thank you. There was I think Huggy.
You've wished this into reality.
I mean, he had a hell of a year when we started getting into Manassero Minute. I mean, we loved the great one. Huggy had a nice article. Apparently, all these guys were just shitting the bed coming in, thinking about this PGA Tour card and what are they going to need their passport. Rasmus, who was locked up, like did not play well. I mean, he never got more than level or even with Rory, even as Rory kind of stalled there in the middle of the round. But he's your first, number 1 on the top 10. Thirsty Boy is 2. Paul Waring is 3. Jesper Svensson 4. Nicholas Norgard 5. Matteo Manassero, the great, 6. Piss Bear, Thorbjorn Olesen is 7. Some more transatlantic travel coming in his future. Antoine Big Twan Rosner and Rakua Hashino is 9. And Tom McKibben sneaks in over Jordan Smith, gets the 10th spot. McKibben. So good day for the Hollywood duo there in Dubai between the win and McKibben getting this tour card.
A big day for Hollywood Golf Club. What do you think they were doing? Do you think they were smashing pints of Guinness in that bar that we watched the rugby match in?
I would imagine they were. Yeah, I would imagine that was hopping today. I guess Dubai's probably a little early ahead of them. I would imagine
a little bit. This was over before I woke up. I had a morning flight. I couldn't believe how early it was on. It's kind of bummed.
That is your DP World Tour season in a wrap up. Restarts in 4 days in Australia. DP World Tour. I'm back on the saddle. I don't know how they
here's
split
the
it
thing.
up with all these ridiculous segments now.
Could this be why European Tour players fared better this year? Is that they actually get to play versus the Corn Ferry guys?
They get starts on the PGA Tour. Is that what you're saying?
They have somewhere to play if they aren't getting starts on the tour.
Because they go to Australia or go to the Made in Denmark or whatever.
Yeah, and they can play all fall. They play into the season. I think it's something to monitor. I wanted to give you a couple game within the games that we gained.
Sure.
Svensson watch. We got Jesper versus Adam next year.
Yep.
Low Svensson.
Los Svensson.
Then we got the Hollywood matchup.
That would be something. I mean, you need some odds. You need some odds for that one. I mean, come on.
Young Tom, I think Young Tom has a long way to go, especially when the conditions are tough.
Well, Lowry had this interesting quote. He goes, the PGA Tour is the Premier League of golf. You can't go there and be half-hearted. You have to give it all these 10s have great seasons, but they're going to go out there and compete. But the fields are so much deeper over there. He said the hardest part is playing new courses, which you've alluded to. Over here, they're familiar with everything. Over there, they won't be in any pro-ams, so they'll need to travel Monday, play Tuesday, and get to know the course. Very time-consuming and difficult. So that's what young Tom McKibben's got ahead of him. What other game within the game?
We got the Danish invasion going on.
Who's that? Piss Bears?
Piss Bear, Norgard, both Højgaards. You know who's only missing? Who's missing? The Dane that might have started it all? Not Bjorn.
Thomas
Everybody's going to think Bjorn.
Yeah. Who?
I'm thinking Soren Kjeldsen.
Just retired.
Gee, I was watching.
Rode off into the sunset.
Last time I was in Moore County, which was a couple of weeks ago, we were watching the Spieth debacle Masters.
Yeah.
You know who might have played the best of any player in that tournament? Just had a couple things go against him.
Danny Willett? Can I say that?
Soren Kjeldsen. He was unbelievable.
He always seemed to flash on those Masters leaders boards. I'm looking to Mateo.
He retired?
It was a big, he's like a hero to those European Tour players. They love that guy. Apparently,
I love that guy.
Top fella, and he rode off in the sunset maybe a few weeks ago. Kjeldsen.
God, yeah, I hope he becomes a Ryder Cup. I hope he becomes a Ryder Cup captain.
Assistant. I mean, yeah, maybe the Danish influence, the incursion. You got several guys. Maybe they need that in the line.
They could be the Great Dane Walker. That could be his nickname.
Any other games within the game you want to proffer out there? Throw out there. Anything else?
That's all I got out of it.
Can Big Twan match Pavon, the two Frenchmen? Pavon came over immediately, cleaned up. Can Big Twan shimmy his way into the PGA Tour and do similar damage as the Frenchman?
Who's going to have a better career, Antoine Rosner or Big Twan Walker?
I mean, Antoine Walker did pretty well for himself. Come on. Very talented.
Who would you, if you redid their career 10 times, who would have a better career, Twan Walker or Glenn Big Dog Robinson?
I think Walker. I think Walker had just transitioned better to the pros.
I think that's big dog slander.
What are you sticking up for, Gary, Indiana, like your regional?
I mean, can we talk about how great of a nickname it is?
Big Dog?
Big Dog. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple. But he was the
people call you freaking Big Dog in basketball.
He never called him Glenn. He was always just Big Dog. God, he was an idol growing up. He's just dropping 37 points, like nothing, all the time.
In an era where people didn't score like that.
Yeah.
The other great nickname of that era of college basketball is Big Country.
Big Country, of course. Brian Reeves. Love that guy, too. There were a lot of them. Remember Serge Zwicker?
Yeah.
They called him Lurch or something like that for Carolina. There's a lot we could get 90s hoops, but this is Swag Sports Minute. Hey, we got something new. We have an unboxing live happening on TV. I was told I had to do it on TV or whatever. This medium is. You didn't get it on time.
I don't know if I didn't check my mail this week.
Why didn't you do that?
It's not a weekly thing for me.
So I've got this.
I was actually now recalling somebody asked me to check my mail.
Mystery box from Swag. I don't know what's in here. I've pre-cut the tape like any advanced unboxer might do. Learn the tricks of the trade. Pre-cut, so I'm not fumbling around. Swag mystery box. All right. The chase is on. Congratulations. You are now in possession of 2024 Black Friday mystery box. Inside, you'll find head covers from a curated collection of literally hundreds of unique designs chosen at random and sealed for flippability. What is that? By our amazing team of quality control technicians. Make no mistake, not all these covers are created equal. While every cover in our 2024 Black Friday collection may be considered rare, You just might pull a cover of truly legendary rarity. What wonders will your mystery box behold?
Look at this.
The chart below.
Like
there
this.
Tiers.
This is like a game of chance here. This is like
3
Monopoly.
Standard,
Monopoly.
I think they need to chip in a little bit more for the professionalism with that, which I'm going through this with the visuals. Standard, limited, and legendary are most rare. So there's 3 levels. How do we do this, PJ? You go to swag.com or swag.golf. Swag.golf.
Swag.golf. There's going to be a link in the description of this podcast if you're listening and you're missing Brendan.
I don't think you're supposed to open those.
YouTube. Yes, you are. Those are like your mystery packs.
I'm supposed to do it live on the air.
But they're sealed. Some of them are sealed, so you could have max resale.
Buy low, sell high. Looks like an individual, like a duck or something. Looks good.
Okay.
Looks good. Buy low, sell high on the cover. A blade.
Can't wait for
another blade cover. You got a bumper sticker you can put on your Cybertruck or something.
Fanciful.
And then I got another swag. This looks like George Washington or Benjamin Franklin money motif with red, white, and or blue, red, and yellow swag head covers. You go to swag.golf, another sticker here. So I got 2, couple stickers, couple blade covers. I'll need to check in on the rarity level. Did I hit the legendary? Did I hit like standard? I'll need to check in. These could be worth some. So you got to go to swag.golf. And what do we do, PJ? The launch will be entered from November 20th to 29th.
Boxes are going from the 20th to the 29th with winners chosen. If you get a mystery box, you're going to be entered in a giveaway. If you buy between the 20th and the 29th, winners being chosen on 11/29 on swaggolf.com. So there'll be a link in this podcast description or this YouTube description. I'll throw it down.
That's pretty good. I like those.
I can't wait for my mystery box.
No, you got to do a subsequent unboxing now.
Did you ever go to a bar that had a mystery beer?
Probably, but it doesn't come to mind right now.
There's a great Wisconsin bar. I can't remember. It's in Milwaukee. It's on like Brady Street, whatever the street is there. They give you a paper bag. You just order a mystery beer. It's always like $2. It's super cheap.
Oh, I see.
Your bag comes in a paper bag, and you could get anything from like a nice beer to Milwaukee's best. You know.
Well, that's interesting. You bring up Milwaukee, hometown team of the Green Bay Packers. What did they do today, Andy? What happened with the Packers today? Mystery bag. What happened?
I was. I have to say today was a step in the right direction.
Oh my God!
Because for once I was like, we're gonna win. We haven't threatened to beat the Packers in years. Like it's been pretty lopsided.
Floosed.
Oh yeah.
The floosed.
What a dipshit.
I mean, I was watching it via Red Zone, and they had like 40 seconds, and it was like a 47-yard. It wasn't like 58. But he didn't play to win the game. Herm Edwards.
Do you have a guess as to Matt Eberflus's record in 1-score games, Andy? This is going around the Twitter sphere at the moment.
I don't know, probably like 3-28.
He's 5-17, which is over 10 percentage points worse than the next worst head coach, which is Zach Taylor, who is also very bad.
He's a horrible coach. He's awful.
Those are the margins of the NFL. That literally all those. There's so many 1-score games. Do you know how to handle them?
So it's like they have the ball. We have a great kicker. We do have a great kicker when you're in his range. He doesn't have a big leg, but he's like super accurate. But like, I wouldn't feel good about a 46-yard field goal. Like, run the ball. There was one way.
40 seconds.
There was one way to win the game, and that was to score a touchdown. Like, you could have just ended the game by like handing the ball off, and maybe your guy gains 5 yards, and it's an easier field goal. Maybe he gains 15, and it's a super easy field goal. Or maybe he breaks a touchdown. Like, the chances of a fumble are so low. And it's also just like a whole mentality. You're clearly playing not to lose at that point. When you just decide not to play, it welcomes bad plays. Then you got TB12 talking about how good of a kicker.
He was terrible. He was not good. I didn't love. Every time I heard him come in, he was just like, he's sort of milquetoast, nothings.
I mean,
like, you got to play. You got to get after it. You got to be aggressive.
I guess what I take away is Shane Waldron is going to go. I don't think he's ever going to get a job in the NFL again.
Oh,
our offense.
These guys get recycled.
Our offense looked competent
career
again.
Money exemptions.
Our offense looked like actually like borderline good. They didn't get the ball a ton. Like, it wasn't a game with a ton of possessions. It's like, I don't know. What were you thinking as they were lining up to kick? The guy bursts through the middle and just puts his paw up. Well, we got called for a penalty for bowling over the long snapper like 2 weeks ago. And I think that penalty happened. I don't think you're allowed to hit a guy. Like, they blew up the center of the line because they just knocked over the guy. I think they clearly committed a penalty, which isn't surprising. Like, the Packers don't get those penalties called against them. Because NFL wants them to be good. Little Green Bay
stat from Kalen Kaler, writer for ESPN. The Bears average 5.3 yards a carry a day. So let's say they run one more play, make it a 41-yard attempt. She understands that, like, the box is stacked. Probably it may not be 5, but the make percentage goes up 12% just with 5 yards from 76 to 88.
Well, Eberflus basically said it was inconsequential. Just like he did with the whole Hail Mary play that he allowed happen. He's just an idiot. He's a horrible coach. But I was texting with a very green NFL fan who lives across the pond. And of course, chirped me the second this happened, and is a Packers fan.
I think I know who this is.
And I said, I would not feel good if I were a Packers fan, because for the first time in my lifetime, the Chicago Bears have a better quarterback than the Green Bay Packers.
Wow. I don't know about that. We'll see. I need to see a little bit more. We need to have a trial. This is opening arguments. Tough loss. I would say, as bad as it was nothing compared to PJ's disgrace of a franchise. The Jets losing to Anthony Richardson Colts. Aaron Rodgers just blaming everyone around him. A tough day for Swag Sports Minute.
A great player and a great person, Aaron Rodgers.
Joseph and I had gone back and forth for like we've gone back and forth for the last month about Anthony Richardson. But once it was announced that he was starting, I very quickly knew how this was going to go. If you're looking for a get right game for your young quarterback who can't complete 40% of his passes, and I say this as an unabashed Anthony Richardson stan, I think he's a superstar. I love him. But if you're looking for a get right game for the guy you just benched for no reason for a 40-year-old, the New York Jets will give it to you. This is what the Jets are designed for.
They went right over the top on Sauce Gardner, who's yelling at the safety.
Ahmad.
Ahmad.
He has not earned his name anymore. No.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going back.
Oh, that's not Sauce anymore? Ahmad Gardner.
No.
Oh, my God.
Do you think golf ruined him?
Yes, I do. I mean, I don't, but like I kind of do.
Just let me be stat boy here. Week 11 completed air yards average 2.8 for Aaron Rodgers, lowest of the week. Average intended air yards 4.2, fourth lowest. Longest completed air yards 27.7, second lowest. The guy sucks.
Yeah, but he's coming back next year. So
your favorite player.
I had a fantasy football matchup, and I have Devontae Adams. My opponent had Garrett Wilson. At one point, I checked the score, and Devontae Adams had 2 catches for 1 yard, and Garrett Wilson had 1 catch for 1 yard. And I was like, what? They had combined 3 catches for 2 yards, 2 of the best receivers in football.
That's Swag Sports Minute. Go to drops.swag.golf.
Hey, we didn't talk about your Brownies.
Week.
What happened to the Browns? How sad is this podcast football fandom?
Jameis threw for 400 yards. They lost to the terrible, terrible Saints. Saints are terrible. Then we have a secondary that's like among the highest paid in the NFL, and they celebrate like everything. We're 2-8, and they're like celebrating a deflected pass or like, Derek Carr threw it into the ground. Because this is like Jim Schwartz's thing is like be strut and like have some attitude. Like that's what he wants you to like really moat. But that was when we were like good, and we're 2-8. Our secondary is so highly paid, and they're jumping around as they get torched every time they deflect the ball. Taysom Hill running wild. And so yeah, we're bad 2-8, but it's nice. I have no investment in them anymore.
I don't think you could put 3 teams together that are sadder than our 3 teams right now.
It's tough. The Jaguars, you were there.
The Jags and the Giants. Yeah.
PJ.
I didn't actually get to watch.
I don't think the Giants are that. The Giants aren't as sad. They're going to get a new quarterback.
Oh.
They knew they were going to suck at the beginning of the year. Nobody expected them to be any good.
That's fair. The Jags are
sad.
52-6. What was it?
52-6. I mean, that was that. I've seen some bad Lions teams, and I've seen the Lions play some bad teams. That was the worst game.
You were in attendance today.
Yeah, that was
all right.
Swag
Sports.
Can I say something? Deep down, when we lost the game, the woman I was on the plane and I was cheering. The woman next to me was startled. I mean, I like let out a yell at one point. I was so on the drive, and it happened. So we lose the game. It happened. I was distraught, and then I thought to myself, you know what? This is a good thing. This is a good thing we lost this game.
Why? Because it hastens the departure of Flus?
If Flus won that game, there would be real momentum to keep him. This is what happened last year, is that he was just awful, and then he managed to rally the team, have some inconsequential wins at the end of the season. And if he had beaten the Packers, that would have carried the weight of like 6 wins in the organization.
You texted us at 3:09 Eastern and said 1 win in the SGS era, which is not a short amount of time, given that they play twice a year. There's
been 1 era since I started this business 9 years ago. 1 win.
You said rare to even have an opportunity to win a game. You're all jazzed up. And then you said 3:09, 3:34. Here comes the drive to rip my heart out. So 25 minutes later, really turned.
That was the drive they went down and scored. And then our quarterback drove us back down, which never happens. That never happens. It always stalls out on the 40.
All right, Swag Sports Minute. Maybe we'll put a timestamp in here for the Echavarria fans so they don't have to listen to us talk about football.
Do you want to talk about Nico Echavarria? Do you want some updated? We could do some updated strokes gained numbers. Let's see if he's gotten above.
We did Echavarria already. He was on the green. He jumped into the signature on 10 or whatever.
I want to give people a real-time update here. All right, let's see Echavarria hot, playing his ass off right now. He's 1/16th in strokes gained off the tee, 104 approach to the green, putting 98, and let's see. I can't find around the greens, but it's something around 100. Is he going to pop? Is this the time he's going to make the big step?
I mean, he has made the big step. That's not a statistical profile that I would say is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's somebody to watch here.
Yeah, Rafa Campos
doesn't drive it great. Doesn't putt it great. Doesn't hit his irons great.
Rafa Campos was losing almost a shot off the total, 0.745. It was 139th off the tee, 97th approach to green, 151st in putting. So not a great year. He'd missed 12 of 13 cuts coming into this event. Has never won on the PGA Tour. Has won on the KFT. Has a daughter on, was it Monday?
Yeah.
Flies on Thursday, gets there 90 minutes before his tee time, and wins the freaking event. His first PGA Tour win. Now has obviously, he's in the Masters. he's in the Masters. He'll be there with, maybe filling the Soren Kjeldsen role. But he'll be there playing, the players. He's got a card for 2 years. He jumped from 147th to 80th. Obviously has his status. for next year. Second player from Puerto Rico ever to win on the PGA Tour behind Chichi Rodriguez. A guy that was 30th in KFT last year. Last guy in via KFT. Was headed that way again this year and wins. So kind of an astounding victory. Beats Novak by 2, more than 2, I think it was in the end. Justin Lauer was in the mix. He led early, had a blow up. Yeah.
Can we talk about Campos real quick?
Yeah.
I found myself on the plane wondering if they played all the tour events on islands, would Rafa Campos be like a top 40 player in the world?
Well, you had that.
So I was thinking this on the plane because the only time in my recollection, other than the Houston Open a few years ago, which he got into that field because of a top 10 in Puerto Rico, I think, or Dominican Republic, one of those two.
Yep.
Every time I've ever seen him flash, he's been on an island. And I want to list off, these are his 10 best OWGR performances.
Okay.
Butterfield, Bermuda Island. The Bahamas, Great Abaco Island. Corrales, Punta Cana Island. Shell Houston Open, not an island. Puerto Rico Island. Compliance Solutions Championship, which...
What is that?
It was a KFT event. I don't think it was on an island. I'm not sure where it was.
Okay.
But it probably wasn't an island. Panama Championship, Central America. Close to pretty much an island. Byron Nelson, not an island. Corrales Punta Cana, island. Bahamas, island. Puerto Rico, island. That's his top 11 finishes. 8 of them have come on islands.
That's kind of
or
ridiculous.
Panama.
That's amazing. Amazing stat you've dug up here.
Well, I mean, he clearly deals with wind well, because it was windy as shit out there.
It was crazy.
You know what I would describe him, which you always want to be described on a golf course. You could be described as cagey, but another great descriptor for somebody is he hits a heavy ball.
It's a heavy ball.
Campos hits a heavy ball.
Yep. He was plus 2,200 or 22,000, I think, pre-event. I'm not an odds guy.
They were not taken into the island effect.
The island factor. I mean, this Butterfield might be the world's golf event now. Americans can't win there anymore. We had Brian Gay and Brendan Todd open it up. And then the last 4 years, we've gone Lucas Herbert, an Aussie, Seamus Power, the Euro, Camilo, South America, and now we've got the Puerto Rican Rafa Campos. Might be the world's event here as we bounce around winners from all over the globe. So Justin Lauer had some quibbles with the wind. I'm picking him to win the RSM. We want Lauer. We like Lauer. He blew up on the par 3 today on the front. Looked like after Mexico last week, he was in shape to win again. Was kind of thought it was ridiculous, the wind.
This was on Saturday.
Saturday was a little nutty. It wasn't easy Sunday, but Saturday was extreme. He said the last, not 14, but the last 15, 16, 17, 18, I don't think that's golf, if you ask me. Balls were going backwards in the air, and I realized a lot of people had to play in it, but I don't think it's fair if that makes sense. I think a top 10 or top 15 player in the world was here, and they wanted to stop. I think rules officials would have said, yeah, we'll stop. When anyone else in the field would have said, I don't feel comfortable playing in this, we would have been told tough and to proceed with the round. So that's how I feel about it. Lauer, playing well, making some real money and points, should have his card locked up, but came up short on Sunday.
He's getting close to the elevated events.
He's getting close. Yeah, he's getting close.
I gotta say,
Lauer backers.
I love Justin Lauer. You cannot say this
right now.
You can't say this when a guy shoots the course record.
Wes Bryant. Now, did he do that early?
He did it early, but there was still wind. And then it wasn't like everybody was shooting 80. This was not, what was it, eczema? years ago.
I think that was Abaco.
Or Abaco.
Maybe Exuma.
No, it was
Might have been
Exuma or whatever.
Yeah.
They had the scorers that weren't keeping track of this.
Yes.
The live
Guys
scoring was
making
all off because
12s on the hole. And
people
nobody
didn't know
knows
what they
what's
were
going
doing. The scorers
Yeah.
didn't understand golf.
Yeah. Yep. So
I mean,
you're popping back at Lauer here.
I'm just gonna say, like, if people were figuring out how to get the ball in the hole, your job as a golfer is to battle the conditions and elements and setup and golf course design and get the ball in the hole faster than everybody else. That's the objective. And this whole idea of fairness is ridiculous, just in general.
Your guy, the Illini, ADDC, Adrian Dumont de Chassart, hasn't done much.
Sign of life.
T3. He jumps from 175 to 142 in the FedEx Cup. Other card, so he's not safe, hardly. He's got to do damage at the RSM. But other card issues. Echavarria finishes 61st to 59th. We've talked about him. And then also into the signature status, Kevin Yu dropped from 60 to 61st. So that was a change there. Jumping into 125 was Campos, obviously. Sam Ryder and Wes Bryan goes to 125 on the button. Dropping out is Norlander, Berger, and Hayden Springer. So Berger, Norlander, Springer, something with the ERs, all falling out for Campos, Ryder, and Bryan. So
one
that's
last week, your favorite event?
The event that should not exist. a little resort pitch and play, having a little fun. All right, that does it for the PGA Tours. Butterfield. Should we talk about Good Walk Coffee?
Yeah,
I had a rough one. I didn't have my coffee today. I was not feeling good. I did tea. I just felt like it's the worst,
this
right? You're already
sound
not
like
feeling
a Good Walk ad.
Take it from here.
Go to goodwalk.com. The ad's supposed to be I had Good Walk. It tasted great and I felt better.
Well, I'm not here we're not going to sell people a bunch of bill of goods. We're not Sake Oil salesmen. This is good coffee. Proceeds go to support us. That's true. What is also true is I didn't drink it today and I felt a little naked because I wasn't feeling well. It's the worst when you have to go with tea. I just avoided coffee. Go to goodwalkcoffee.com/shotgun. Use the code SGS at checkout to save 20% on your entire order. That's 20% on your entire order. Or you can save 10% as a recurring subscriber, which really goes to help us out. You get a consumable good, something you're using and also supporting the podcast. So use SGS, you get 20% off that first order. And then as a subscriber, you get 10% off with each order thereafter.
A real story about this coffee is I gave my neighbor a cup of it one morning, and they are now they do not care about golf whatsoever. They are not, but they now subscribe. They ditched like a fancy pants San Francisco beans subscription. They ditched it for this because they liked it so much.
Wow. I think we have a holiday blend coming out too. We have that gift box. That got rave reviews from sort of the coffee snobs on the team last week in Austin as we were brewing that at the team offsite.
I think
so the holiday
the
blend
open
too.
Burundi blend was bomb. The holiday blend's good.
I'm
a huge fan of the fried egg blend. I'm more of a lighter coffee guy.
Medium dark. So goodwalkcoffee.com/shotgun and use that code SGS. Smash that code SGS. All right, let's go to the LPGA.
Hold on.
What?
Did you see how many short putts were missed today?
Campos had one. I thought for sure it spelled doom. He missed like a 6-inch putt. Kind of just
Lauer
walked up to it and
4-putted
swept it
on 8.
8. Yep.
Novak missed back-to-back shorties. He was swiping away at it.
What do you think this is? Wind?
I'll tell you what. Windy, slower greens that had grain. It was hard to putt, but slower greens. Got to hit putts. It's not just a get it online and it'll go in affair. It was awesome to watch. I legitimately was nervous when guys had 3-footers.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I thought Campos was toast when he walked up and just, swiped
That was
one.
bad.
It
was so short.
He's not going to win. Yes, I mean, it was under a foot.
Say that, and Andrew Novak's chasing him, who was doing his own, who couldn't make a putt outside of. I mean, the putts he missed back-to-back holes was insane.
All right. Someone who did make their putts mostly today was Nelly Korda. Just goes game busters on the back nine of the whatever this tournament's called, the Annika, presented by Gamebridge at Pelican, I think is the full title. The Blueberry Boys were out in force.
Blueberry Open.
Oh, they were all looking for selfies with Nelly. I was looking at Getty. They're just the Blueberry Boys forever across the whole green, and women, Blueberry girls, a lot of women members in their blazers too. Nelly makes 5 straight birdies on the back nine to just sprint by Charlie Hull. Great last pairing there. Her probability stats via Justin Ray, the 10th tee, she had a 7.6% chance of winning. And then by 15, she had a 90% chance. So that was the one that got it. I think she was 6 strokes back with like 27 to play behind Hull. So it was her first event in 2 months with the neck injury thing. She sounds like she's been doing some crazy rehab, like 3 days a week working, or three times a day working on her neck. So she skipped a lot of the fall. Jumps right back in at the Annika. I think she's won this 3 of 4 times. I think they've only had 4 at the Pelican, and she's won it 3 times. So yeah, that stretch 11 to 15 races by a Hull, and it's her 7th win of the season. I think the first time for an American to win 7 times since Beth Daniel in 1990. So she's won, I think, 4.3 or 4.1 million, so she could pass Lorena Ochoa's record next week at the CME, the season ender. An impressive season,
impressive year.
Jump right back in from the injury, and she obviously appears to be a horse for this course. The Blueberry Boys, Nelly.
They're gonna have to Nelly-proof it.
I think
you
they
think
might.
about like how ridiculous that idea is that you have a golf course that like the best player in a sport wins at a lot, and it's like, let's figure out how to make it so they don't win.
To mitigate that.
It's actually like a ridiculous. It's like, wait a second, like Tiger wins all the time at our golf course.
Put some trees in. Yeah.
Let's try and change it so he doesn't win. That's like the greatest thing that could happen to you over the course of time. So Tiger wins here a lot. He keeps coming back. Nelly wins here all the time. Let's Nelly-proof it.
Card watch on the LPGA. Of course, you've got the top 80 get like higher priority for next year. Top 100 get your cards. Polly Mack and Yuri Yoshida were the first 2 women out. Other notables outside the 100 were Stacey Lewis, Danielle Kane, who had a very not good year this year, but they can use career money list exemptions next year, which I know you're a fan of, despite them not retaining their card.
Danielle
so that's card
Kane
watch.
Lost her card.
Yeah, she's 144th. She did not have a good year. So, yeah. Okay, so that's your update there. What was not on watch was the pace of play. This became a big issue. We know it's a problem on the LPGA.
Never on watch.
Beth Ann Nichols had an article on it on Golf Week. They had an issue on Friday bleeding into Saturday. You have 120 players. Obviously, they're short days here in mid-November. The club, the Pelican, has asked the LPGA, like, you have to make this smaller. I think that Justin Sheehan, I believe the head pro, wrote a letter on Sunday saying we need to make this smaller. Charlie Hull, her idea, according to Beth Ann, is 2-shot penalties shall be given out more frequently, and repeat offenders would lose your tour card instantly.
That's a great
Lose
rule.
your card
Honestly,
after repeat offenders.
Incredible. They should do
that. It's ridiculous. I feel sorry for the fans. So, this is from Beth Ann's article. Caitlin Buddy came to the demanding 18th on Friday at Pelican Golf Club. Again, 120 players. The lights from the driving range have been moved over to help light up the green. While that didn't help her too much in the fairway, she didn't want to sleep on the second shot over water. She hit her approach, then woke up early Saturday to finish up her round along with 2 others. For the second consecutive day, play spilled over the next morning, despite no interruptions in play. So here's the trickle-down effect. Meant that with tee times pushed back 30 minutes so they could finish up on Saturday, Nelly Korda and Charlie Hall came to the 18th on Saturday after the sun had gone down. Korda called it, quote, poor planning that they had to finish in the dark. Golf Channel's TV window was slated to end at 5, and it went to 5:51 p.m. So 51 minutes over. The final group teed off, this is Saturday, teed off at 12:13 p.m. And it took them 5 hours and 38 minutes to play. Again, twosomes, racing dark, you're wheeling lights in. Seems like it's hit a, I know we've talked about this forever, but it seems like with the players themselves, it's hit sort of a mass level of agitation. You know, Carlos Saganda got a
tour
penalty.
Tour player, there's nothing you can do. It's just how long it takes. There's nothing you can do. Nope. Shot clock wouldn't speed anything up.
Golf Week's website is such a disaster. Trying to read this Beth Ann
Look
article.
at that. Just drive by Golf Week.
I mean,
why you got to pick on on Little Gannett? You know,
good article though by Beth Ann.
Little engine that could Gannett.
Yeah, just loading it up. Elsewhere in golf, Max McGreevy wins the Dunlop.
Your guy,
Phoenix. Max McGreevy facts. He beats Akshay by 4. Hideki by 4, and Sean Norris, the South African, by 4. Good leaderboard done at the Dunlop Phoenix for what they had. So.
Can I present a game within the game?
Yeah, do it.
Who do you think is going to have a better 2025? Max McGreevy or Nico Echavarria? I would suggest that I get McGreevy because I've always been a big McGreevy fan, and you get Nico.
You have. All right, we could do that. I think we should monitor the max zone. Grazerman, Homa, McGreevy. It should be something to watch for. Grazerman seems to be hot right now. I might bet on him.
I think the money would go to the smart money would go to Grazerman.
I mean, I suspect Homa will have the most significant good play, but
I don't know. You gotta. He's not with the number one coach in the world anymore.
News. Donald Trump, the president-elect of the United States, played golf with Big Jay Monahan on Friday.
Andy was at a boxing match, a really awful boxing match with Yasir.
Not boxing. He was at the MMA
he was at the Garden for UFC.
Oh, the UFC.
Man, we almost had a victory Monday double for the Cleveland fight game.
It was almost a Cleveland.
Jake Paul and Stipe, both Clevelanders, went Friday, Saturday. Jake Paul beat up on Mike Tyson.
How bad was that?
It was terrible. I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm not ashamed enough to admit that I watched like that in its entirety. With my wife, we were like, kids had gone to bed.
He couldn't move. I don't understand why.
It's terrible.
Why people were saying that he was ready to go. He's a 60-year-old man.
The best was Roy Jones Jr. He's like, I don't like this. I don't like the legs. I don't like this. It's like he couldn't move. They clearly let that go 8 rounds, right? I mean, Jake Paul could have knocked him out, I would imagine. But yeah, Trump plays with Big J on Friday and sits with Yasir on Saturday.
Caused some problems.
I mean, yeah, I think there's probably already some problems there. But yeah, I watched that.
What do you think about Trump playing with Big J and then being with Andrew Waterman the next night?
It sounds like he initiated the round. Trump, that is, asked Big J to come down. I can't imagine Big J is hitting up Donald right now as he gets to transition. So Trump brought him down. They talked golf, I guess, and then he was with Andrew Waterman at the MMA match or MMA fight on Saturday. So that's news. I imagine that's going to get done quicker. And yeah.
Do you think it'll be merged now that the DOJ might not be an issue?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I
don't know. We'll see.
You're sick. You're a sick boy. I'll let you go to
not
rest.
My expertise. We went for a full hour here talking.
We talked about being a short one.
Echevarria and all sorts of stuff. All right, everybody, enjoy your Mondays. We will be back with you on Wednesday.